my name is Chase Lewis. I am 15 years old, and I have invented 2 life-saving technologies. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, this kid's amazing. But that's not quite what I want you to be thinking. You see, inventing is human. It's simple and easy. It's as simple as finding a problem, then researching that problem, finding a possible solution to that problem, build that possible solution, and test it. That is an invention. I applied this process to both of my inventions. Now, my first problem was that during the Somali famine of 2011, parents and their children fled their homes to begin 2 to 3 week treks across Africa. Unfortunately, parents were forced to decide which children lived and which children were left by the roadsides to die. When I heard about this, I thought there's got to be some way to fix this. But wait, why were they being left by the roadsides to die? Well, the average African family has 4 children, and quite often only one parent accompanied those 4 children to refugee centers, because maybe one parent had to stay behind to guard the house, one parent may have died during the famine. This means that you have a parent trying to carry one child wrapped to her back, one child wrapped to her front, and one child in her arms, and that is pushing it. That 4th child may not be able to walk. If that 4th child can't continue on, that mother is going to have to decide which children she's going to keep and which child she's going to leave. So I had to find a solution to this when I heard about it. The big issue is that in Africa, there is a major dearth of wheeled transportation. They don't even have bikes. Most families don't even have a bike or a wheelbarrow. This is highlighted by the fact that in transporting people from small rural villages to larger villages with doctors, people often have to carry the sick, elderly, those in delivery distress on doors or, if available, in a wheelbarrow. This often leads to deaths along the way. So obviously what was needed was a simple, inexpensive wheeled transportation device. As I thought about this, my mind wandered to the travois, originally an invention of the Native American Plains Indians. Basically 2 poles from a teepee crossed at a main vertex and originally dragged behind a horse or a dog. I retrofitted this design to the 21st century by adding wheels to make it easier to pull, by adding a cargo net so you could stick your kids in it, and by adding a structural cross member at the back to make it more structurally sound. It's also collapsible so that you can flat ship it and airdrop it onto refugee roads where the refugees can assemble it using simple Lego-like instructions. To test it, I brought it to a local gathering of homeschool parents and children. I had several kids attempt to assemble the travois, and they had it down in less than 15 minutes. They had never seen the travois before, and they had no prior engineering experience. If they could do it, so could the Africans. Now, that was good, but there was something better. A 65-pound girl carried 85 pounds of children in the travois. That's more than her own body weight, mind you. And that would have been great, but it was even better. She threw her arms up in the air and yelled, "This is easy." I'm not sure of any clear indicator that the travois works. I ended up winning several competitions with the travois, including the Smithsonian EPEL's Invention Challenge, in which I got an all-expenses-paid patent application, which is really useful for a young inventor. That didn't slow me down, however, because I'm currently working on a bamboo version of the travois. Why bamboo? Remember when I said that they had to carry the sick, elderly, those in delivery distress on doors? Yeah, that's still a problem. Small villages don't have what they need to move the sick and elderly to larger villages with doctors. Often, people die along the way. So what if you gave them something that they could afford that was efficient, that could easily get people there without the tremendous struggle of trying to push a wheelbarrow up and down hills or carry somebody on a door? Well, you might just save some lives. So how do you do this? The original travois design was a little bit too expensive. But what if I made it out of something that they had in Africa and that was very inexpensive? Well, bamboo is just that. Now you're probably thinking, wait, bamboo? That's Asian. True, it started out in Asia, but it's actually very prolific in Africa. It's a widely grown crop, believe it or not. So I coupled this with organic ropes, inexpensive, simple steel axles, non-pneumatic tires, and a nice cargo net to come up with a very inexpensive version of the travois that could be assembled on site by the Africans with the materials they have. This could aid people in famine situations, transporting the sick and elderly to larger villages, and in everyday life. It could make farming more efficient. Maybe you save time on carrying gallons and gallons of water. It could make a difference. My second problem was brought to my attention by an article I read in which a mother was forced to throw her infant out of the second story of a burning apartment building to a 10-year-old waiting below, because otherwise they would have succumbed to the smoke and died. Now, both the mother and the infant made it out okay, but this told me that there's a major problem. Across the world, when people are trapped on the second stories of burning buildings, waiting for firemen to arrive, they often succumb to the smoke. The ironic thing is that you have firemen in civilian vehicles waiting below. You have police waiting below. You have EMTs waiting below. They can't do anything because they can't reach you. What if you gave them some way to give you more time? Well, let's talk about that. I found a mask made by X-Caper Industries, a little green pouch about this big, filled with foam pellets coated in aloe vera. It filters out smoke particulate and noxious gases from the air, making the smoke a whole lot safer to breathe for an extended period of time. So this will give you more time in a smoky environment to wait for the fire department to arrive and save you. Hang on. That's good and all, but the mask's not very aerodynamic. How am I going to get it up there? I'm a teenage boy. I love to blow stuff up. So my first thought was, let's shoot it up there. So I did. I brought my idea to a local sports mascot and asked him to shoot a t-shirt cannon through a window. He tried. He really did. Accuracy, however, suffered 0%. Not desirable. So he threw the projectile. Accuracy was 48%, which is, by the way, a lot better than 0. So I looked into some hand-thrown projectiles, including a 3D printed football. I designed the football on a simple 3D modeling 3D CAD program called Tinkercad. The football has a simple snap fastening system so that you can easily pop it together with a mask in it, just throw it up. I 3D printed the football on my MakerBot Replicator 2 3D printer, which I got with science fair winnings. They're really awesome. Look into 3D printing. It's a brilliant technology. I then tested the projectiles, and the 3D printed football came out on top with a 70% accuracy rating, which means that if you have a police, EMT, or volunteer firefighter waiting down below, they can easily transfer the mask into that pod and throw it up with reasonable surety that they will reach you and give you more time and hopefully save your life. This, too, won the Smithsonian EPALS Invention Challenge, and I have a patent application that I'm about to file for that as well. This would be most needed in rural areas with volunteer fire departments, which make up a surprisingly huge portion of the country. Now, everyone, you're probably thinking, yet again, this kid is amazing. But hang on, I told you earlier, that's not what I want you to get out of this. Inventing is human. It's not reserved for Graham Bell and Edison. They were geniuses, but you can do it too. You, and you too, Steve. All of you. Now, how am I going to tell people about this? Well, I would like to see Inventing 101 courses administered to middle schoolers across the nation. What would Inventing 101 be, you ask? Well, you first of all tell kids that they can invent. Then you tell them how to invent. You give them those steps I showed you earlier, and you give them examples. You help them out whenever they need help with it. And you show them examples of people who have invented at a young age. And I'm not the only one who thinks this will work. I have contacted Jack Andraka, a teen inventor of quite some report, and he told me to tell you that he agrees. Now, this is great and all, but hang on. How are we going to get this across America? You're talking about educating an entire nation. That's a bureaucratic nightmare, right? Well, yeah, but Connecticut and Ohio are already doing something pretty darn close to this. They have invention curricula already. If we were to follow their examples, America could become an invention nation. That'd be good, but one more problem. How are we going to find time in student schedules? Okay, my school district has a mythology class, a year-long elective. It's about stories that were never real, and gods that were never real. Don't get me wrong, I like mythology, but inventing 101 would be real. See my point? Anyway, how many of you think you are inventors? Come on, raise your hands, all of you. Inventing is only human. Thank you.